So we need you all to sing and be very participatory. Andy, of course, can carry us for sure because he has an incredible voice and spirit. And we'll just need to, it'll be a little bit quieter in between, but maybe that is a good thing. Maybe we'll learn something about ourselves and our prayers tonight that we had not known before. We are going to begin on page 142 by singing Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boechem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi-Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi-Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi-Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
I'd like to invite up Janine Hutner to offer us some announcements this evening.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm representing the Board of Trustees, and I would like to welcome you to the temple this evening. The Kiddush this evening is in loving memory of Aaron Dolgen, from Linda Dolgen Duda and Steve Duda. The men's Havurah is Wednesday, March 26th at 7 p.m. All men are welcome to attend and share a laugh or two. Want to rejuvenate your body and soul? Come to Shabbat morning yoga Saturday, March 29th at 10:30 a.m. Join Rabbi Delson and Cantor Rower for a musical Shabbat and song and study Saturday, April 5th at 10:30 a.m. There will be an extended Torah discussion. The topic is Passover. Temple Passover Seder is Saturday, April 12th at 5:30. Please call the Temple office to make your reservations. Information can be found in the Temple Bulletin and in the April Bulletin. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. Yes, Passover it comes so quickly after Purim. We did such a huge thing for Purim here, and it's time already. We have 3 more weeks to get ready and get ourselves emotionally and spiritually and physically ready. Clean the house for, for this intense but incredibly meaningful holiday. We are going to turn in our prayer books to page 120. And I'd like to invite up Sue Hirsch to light our Shabbat candles this evening. You can read this reading first, and then we can light them. Okay. Can you hold that?
Okay. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
it's a good occasion.
Okay.
It'll be a new thing for you. Beautiful. Right there. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we say the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu
Lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Read the English too.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
So I'm going to invite the congregation to please rise. Sue is celebrating her 90th birthday next week. And so we are going to offer her a blessing. If you could come up here. A few more. There we go. Sue, on this occasion of your 90th birthday, almost, right? Next week. Is it the 27th? 30th. The 30th, okay. I want to offer you this blessing. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, the God of our ancestors, bless this Sue and her amazingness. She, just as you are, is a teacher among the people, constantly reminding us of our better selves, which we are to be reminded from God as well. Sue gives of her time and of her grace and of her patience and kindness so much to this congregation every Sunday morning with our students and every adult education opportunity to continue to better herself and our community with her thoughts and opinions and presence. May God bless you always. And we're going to offer you our priestly blessing, and he's going to sing it, and I'm going to say it in English. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine upon you and be gracious to you. And may God's presence always be with you and bring you peace.
Thank you.
Amen.
Amen.
We can all say Mazel Tov.
Mazel tov. Absolutely.
You may be seated.
And then one more. Yep. I can do that. Thanks again.
Take your time.
Absolutely.
Page 126. We can read together. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and bring that vision to life. Page 138, Lecha Dodi.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, pine Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pine Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishme'anu el hamayuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shemu tiferet v'li tehillah. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pine Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pine Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'dercha, Ki mekol habracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof maze b'makshava tchila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, kivarech mi uri, shir naberi, kevod Adonai halayich nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pine Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pine Shabbat nekabela. Please rise, face the door. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzola, toch emuneh hamsegula, boi chala, lecha dodi likrat kala, pine Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pine Shabbat nekabela.
Chati Kaddish is on page 144.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemer haba, bi'alma divorach yidute v'hamlich makrote, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chayede kol bet Yisrael, bagala, u'v'yisman kariv, v'himeru, Amen. Yehi shemer haba mevorach, le'alam hunal mehamaya, yitvarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitvar, v'yitramam, v'yitnaseh, ואת התר, ואת הלב, ואת הלל, שמי לקדשה בריחו. לנבין כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה, וימרו אמן.
Please rise for the Baruchu on page 146.
Baruch hu et Adonai, Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai, Hamevorach, leholam vaed.
Join together in the Hebrew on page 148, Ma'ariv Aravim, our prayer for the evening. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim v'chochma potech sha'arim uvitfuna meshane itim uma chalif et hazmanim misader et hakohavim b'mishmerotechem berakira kirtsono borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech vehoshech mipnei or uma'avir yom umevi laila umavdil ben yom uvein laila Adonai Tzevaot Shemo El Chai v'kayam tamid imloch aleinu leolam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Join together in the English on page 150. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema on the next page.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Be seated. Ve'ahavta is on page 154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להות הידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We read responsively at the bottom of page 157. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt, we were delivered at Sinai. We bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to
Work for the day when the nations shall be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
מי כמוך בנים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו פניך, בוקע הים לפני משה ומרים. זה לי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגואלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גן ישראל.
Hashkivenu is on page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 162, our song for Shabbat.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. בני ובן בני ישראל אותי לעולם. בני ובן בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש.
You'll notice at the bottom of that page, it says that Vishamru, this text, it actually comes from the Torah, from Exodus chapter 31, was part of last week's Torah portion. Lee and I actually studied that earlier this week. It's part of Ki Tisa, which is the Torah portion with the golden calf. And so Moses is up on Mount Sinai for 40 days and comes down and sees that the people are dancing around this molten golden calf. And obviously that is not what they're supposed to do. They were told not to worship idols, and that is certainly not God. And I was listening to a podcast from Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs, blessed memory, when he was talking about this Torah portion and saying that in the midst of the chaos, after the chaos of the people being completely split apart by this abomination, really, they should not have done that. The two things that brought them back together were building the Mishkan, which we are now in this part of the Torah where people are bringing all of the things. It's part of this week's Torah portion, and Shabbat. It was a reminder after this horrible thing that they did that Shabbat, these two things, Shabbat and the Mishkan, were the things that brought the people back together. And it's clear, we still do that. We go about our lives throughout our week. We go to work, we do our volunteering, we take care of ourselves in the way that we need to take care of ourselves, and then we come back together every Friday night and sing this song to remind us of the centrality of Shabbat and what it does. Not just about the day and how we observe it, but that it brings people together. We are going to turn now to page 164 and rise as a community for the Amidah.
Adonai, sefatai tiftachu fi ki tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, v'Elohei avotenu v'himotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Harara, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Ve'koneh HaKol, Ve'zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevii Geula livnei v'nem, L'man Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Mashiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Hazrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mekayeh HaKol atarav v'choshia, Mashiv HaRuach u'morid HaGashem, Mechacher Chaim bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim v'rofeh cholim, U'matir asurim, U'mekayem emunato lishenei afar, Mi kamocha bar gevurot, U'midva melach, Melech memit u'mechayeh, U'matzmiach Yeshua, V'neheman atah lechayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kedoshim b'chol yom yahalalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated. Turn now to page 175 for an English interpretation of Ritzeh, the top of the page. Join together. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands. You are our God, whom alone we serve and reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha be'ira na'avod. And page 177. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. And our prayer for peace, which we certainly need this week, join together on page 179. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivorech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. Just as we are praying for peace for the world, we also pray for healing, which is a kind of peace. The words to the Mishaberach are on page 371. And tonight we are praying for the healing of Rochelle Barczyk, Linda Sue Gormley, Sarah Taub, Duncan Williams, and Larry Schwartz. If there are any others that we'd like to mention, I would encourage you to do so.
Dave Saltzman.
Join together.
Mishaberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha lehavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
May they each find a sense of hope and healing very soon.
Amen.
We'll take the next few moments for our own personal prayer.
Adonai Tzuri, Tzuri vegali. Adonai Tzuri vegali. Amen.
I'm going to need these for my sermon tonight. Could you imagine a situation where Jews all over the world had a say in what happened in Israel? I sure wish I did. And the old joke about 2 Jews and 3 opinions would be rampant. And if there are 15 million Jews in the world, imagine how many opinions that would be. If we have any mathematicians in this room. How would we even make our voices heard? This week's Torah portion is called Vayakhel, which means to collect, and seeks to do just that, to collect all of the people together. Last week's Torah portion, as I said before, was a scene of chaos, with Moses at Mount Sinai and then coming down, and he found his brother in the middle of this mess with the golden calf and all of the people. And as I mentioned, Rabbi Jonathan Sachs wrote the following. He said, "It is at this point, at the beginning of Vayakhel, that Moses commands the people to construct the tabernacle, and it was a stroke of genius. It is as if God said to Moses, if you want to create a group with a sense of collective identity, get them to build something together. It's not what happens to us, but what we do that gives us identity and responsibility. What transformed the Israelites is not what God did for them, but what they did for God." Rabbi Sachs's idea is that they had to do something to be invested in their own future with God. They had to have some say, and it couldn't just come from Moses, but it had to be from their own hands too. They had to change from the inside out based on their own contributions. During the High Holy Days, I spoke about, which was a very long time ago, wouldn't say you should remember because it seems like a very long time ago. I spoke about the upcoming World Zionist Congress elections that happened between March 10th and May 4th. And tonight I wanted to share some more details about that and what's at stake in these elections and how we can actually, as American Jews, help to shape Israeli society through our vote by using our collective voice and by bringing the community together. Rabbi Rachel Klein, a rabbi in Atlanta, shared the following words with her congregation last week, and I'm hoping that her words will help spur us to also cast our vote. The World Zionist Congress, which is known as WZC, is a central non-governmental institution in Israel, often called the Parliament of the Jewish People. The WCZ convenes every 5 years to bring together representatives from the Jewish communities around the world to decide on key issues affecting the Jewish people in Israel and globally. The Congress elects the leadership that sets policies and influences the allocation of $1 billion annually. There are 500 seats in this Congress, and the United States has 152 of them, as you can see on that piece of paper. Israel has 190, and the rest of the world has 165. The reform movement's goal is to receive as many of the 152 U.S. seats as possible so that we can be the loudest and largest vote at the table. But the word has gotten out. Since 2015, the reform movement has had the largest share of votes and the most influence. In 2020, the reform movement saw more people cast votes from the movement, but actually lost a share of votes because overall more votes were cast. And this year, it is expected that close to 250,000 American Jews will vote between now and May 4th, and we have to make sure that our share keeps up with the volume. So every year, every 5 years, more people have been voting, and our share we've had more individual voters, but our share has actually gotten smaller. So there's an extra push this year to make sure that everybody in our congregations votes. We are fighting for a seat at the table to have a say in where this real money is spent. The WCZ elects the leadership of the World Zionist Organization, and these leaders set policies and influence the allocation of that $1 billion I mentioned earlier. The WZO places decision makers who hold key positions in the national institutions, which are the Jewish Agency for Israel and Karen Kayemet Yisrael, known as KKL. If you ever had a tzedakah box that said KKL on it, that's what this is, which is the Israel branch of the Jewish National Fund. The WZO is also responsible for setting policies and electing leadership and directing various departments that oversee educational, cultural, and developmental activities in Israel. For example, these institutions, KKL for example, make consequential decisions about where to purchase land and build new communities in Israel. Their actions can make a difference between expanding settlements in the West Bank or pausing in favor of a path to peace. These institutions also affect funding for things like the Shin Shinim, which they're gonna come back. They're currently in Israel. They're scouts that come from Israel. They mostly in Cleveland, but they come to us too. And shlichim that bring young Israelis to teach and be part of progressive synagogues like JCCs and camps and more. While the Reform movement is the largest Jewish denomination in North America, we are a minority in Israel with just 8%. And this is partly due to the lack of government funding in comparison to Orthodox communities. And our votes, your votes, bring funds that are crucial for that movement to survive and thrive and further the core ideals of democracy, which are freedom and pluralism and security, and champion a different vision of what it means to be Jewish in the Jewish state. So here's the flip side. If we don't hold the power, someone else will. That someone includes ultra-Orthodox groups who refuse to call us Jews, refuse to call me a rabbi. They think that we're going to get out there and destroy the Jewish state. And so here's their agenda. Number one, they want to increase funding for settlements in the West Bank and build more illegal communities on Palestinian land. Number two, they want to roll back gains for gender equality and religious pluralism. They want to send women back to the back of the bus, literally, and continue to make it harder to access public transportation on Shabbat. Number four, they want to strip Israeli Reform clergy and communities of their legal recognition and funding. We already receive very little funding, and it's from the Ministry of Sports and Culture, not from the Rabbanut, and they want to eliminate that little funding that we already receive. Number five, they want to advance policies to weaken the influence of Reform Jews by rejecting our conversions and questioning the authenticity of our Jewish children's Jewish identity. Right now, our conversions and people who identify as Jewish through patrilineal descent, if you come from an interfaith family where the father is Jewish and the mother is not, in our Reform context, they are Jews. But they want to strip that ability in Israel to have the right of return to the land of Israel, and they want to take that away. Number 6, they want to ensure that ultra-Orthodox Israelis will not serve in the IDF. Number 7, they want to advance Netanyahu's government's judicial overhaul and anti-democratic policies of racist politicians like the ministers Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich. And as we have seen, these are already threatening the democracy of the state of Israel. They want to allow ultra-Orthodox to keep the core curriculum out of their schools and advance additional gender segregation in Israeli society. By not teaching them skills to enter society, they further segregate themselves from the real world. And they're working to get out the vote in ways that they did not in 2015 and 2020. So we need to come out even stronger. In the words of our movement's Zionist leader, Rabbi Josh Weinberg, here is why it matters to vote in the WCZ elections. As Reform Zionists, we affirm our connection to the land and the people and the state of Israel and much more. We're fighting to preserve Israel not just as the only Jewish state in the world, but to aspire to see it be a liberal, free, and pluralistic democracy that's open and tolerant. We Reform Zionists are fighting against those who hold a completely different vision of what the Jewish state should be. Who says that Reform and liberal Judaism are inauthentic and an illegitimate expression of Judaism. We're fighting against those who champion the greater land of Israel vision and fervently oppose any diplomatic solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. We're fighting so that the best interests of women and members of the LGBTQ+ community and Israel's marginalized minorities can be seen and heard. We're fighting so that our Reform rabbis and leaders in Israel will be recognized and their conversions will continue to be accepted by the state. We're fighting to say that to the world that Israel is our people's homeland, even if it isn't our home. Reform Zionism is about nurturing the soul of the state according to our Jewish values and upholding the values of the Israel's founders, who laid them out clearly in the Declaration of Independence. Zionism is about our collective responsibility to our people, reminding us that every Jew is responsible for one another. Zionism is about bringing back those who were taken from their homes and still languishing in Gaza, and taking care of those who were displaced. Zionism is about reimagining what it means to be Jewish in the Jewish state and offering new, authentic, inclusive, and creative expressions of Jewish life. Our Zionism is not about exercising power to defend ourselves and to maintain our sovereignty, but also about exercising compassion and care toward the vulnerable and powerless in our midst and under our sovereignty. We're faced today with an essential choice because so many in the larger Zionist tent are striving to delegitimize us as Reformed Jews. We can choose to fight for our rightful place at the table or surrender to the extremist powers that seek to weaken and marginalize us as Jews among the Jewish people. So often we're told as diaspora Jews that we shouldn't have a voice in what happens in the state of Israel. But we know that everything that happens in Israel has a direct effect on us, on our security, on our identity as Jews. So as Zionists, we need to have our voices heard. So are you ready to vote yet? As you'll see on your handout, and there are also postcards as you leave, to vote, you have to be 18 or over and self-identify as Jewish and live in the United States and pay $5, which goes toward funding the cost of running the election. And if anybody has any questions, I would be happy to help you. For the QR code there, you just have to open up your phone's camera. And when you do that, you place the camera on the QR code and a link will show up and you tap the link and it'll take you to that place. And if you don't want to do it on Shabbat, that's totally great. You can take the paper home and do it later. When you go to vote, though, hit vote reform. It's all in caps, and it's the third one down on the slate. And I've already voted. It takes 5 minutes. I know Janine already voted as well. And so let's get out the vote. It will really actually make a big difference. And we will build something together that reflects our values. Shabbat Shalom. If anybody has any questions about it, I'm happy to answer after services tonight. We'll turn now to page 586. Aleinu is actually our prayer about making the world a better place. Please.
Aleinu l'shebeach l'hadon ha'kol, na'atik gedulah liyotzeh bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzot, ve'lo samanu kemishpechot ha'adamah, shelo samchem kidukahem, ve'kol aleinu kechol amonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech, malachei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu.
Page 591.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ושמו
Please be seated. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, and those whom our friends and neighbors have lost. The martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We're remembering 3 who've been laid to rest in the past 30 days: Charlie Bauer, Harriet Goldberg, and Shirley Phyllis Letvin. And we also recognize Bruce Feldman, who will be laid to rest next week. We're remembering also Samuel B. Adler, Dr. Saul Bax Asneth, Joseph Garth Balshone, Ann Kahn, Suzanne Davidson, Aaron Dolgen, Arnold S. Feldstein, Helen R. Fox, Harry Greenfield, Maya P. Habergritz, Simon Heilbrunn, Robert Hughes, Lori Katz, Marvin S. Kobacker, Evelyn Krause, Sophie Levy, William Levine, Madeline Levinson, Gladys Levitt, Fanny I. Myers, Max Noodleman, Matthew Oken, Harry Perisky, Alexander Raymond, Hope Joyce Romanoff, Stanley Rubin, Alfred H. Sanborn, Blanche G. Seitner, Dr. William N. Shapiro, Herman Scharfman, Richard Sugarman, Shirley Sugarman, Bertha Starsky, Joan Nigel Thorne, Madeline G. Truhaft, Maurice I. Weinstein, Blossom Waxman, and Jean Younghart. Are there any other names we'd like to mention? Words to the Mourner's Kaddish are on page 598. Please rise. Yit Gadal V'Yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah Be'alma divrach yurte v'yamlich malchute. B'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agalal v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi shmei rabba mivorach le'olam olamei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemed kudisha b'rechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. You may be seated. Our closing song this evening is Ma Yafeh Hayom on page 634, which is how beautiful of a day this is.
Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom.
I forgot to mention that if you do vote, I have a I voted sticker
Ooh, excellent.
as well. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Please join us in the hallway for
Shabbat Shalom.
our Kiddush and Motzi.